Welcome to Bruhan Mumbai Municipal Corporation's Virtual Training Center, and I am Mrs. Snehal Kodambe, your English teacher from VTC. Let's begin with today's session.
Welcome to today's session. Dear children, in standard 10 till yet we have gone through many beautiful and different types. We can see various types of poem, right? Like a teenager's prayer, where a teenager is praying to the God to help them, or in somewhere some in other poems like Basket Full of Moonlight, there the social or the economic problems has been focused. We have learned them. So in the poem The Twins, we have learned about the twins and their problems and their happiness and their joys. In poem If, the poet has focused on the positive attitude of the life. So in this way, this year we are learning different types of poems. In today's session, we are going to learn such a beautiful poem here in which the nature has been focused by the poet of this poem. So which is that poem is? So a very beautiful, short and sweet poem by Robert Lee Frost, and the title of this poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. So as soon as you will learn the title, you will come to know what is the central idea of this poem. So this is the beautiful poem by Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. आजच्या भागामध्ये आपण जी पोएम बघणार आहोत ती निसर्गावर आधारित आहे. निसर्ग आणि माणसाचं जे काही नातं असतं त्या नात्याचं वर्णन या छोट्याशा कवितेतून अत्यंत प्रभावीपणे कवीने इथे केलेलं आहे. आणि आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहितीये बघा, वी आर वेटिंग फॉर द वेकेशन्स और हॉलिडेज. ॲज सून ॲज वी गेट द वेकेशन और द हॉलिडेज, we pack our bags and we go for the trekking or for the picnics, because we all are very attracted towards the nature. So in this poem, this attraction of the human being has been focused over here. At the same time, it has some deep meaning too. So let's learn this poem by Robert Frost. So before learning the poem, we will learn some more information about the poet of this poem, Robert Lee Frost, who was born in 1874 and passed away in 1963. So he was an American poet. He is highly regarded for his realistic depiction of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech. He is one of the most popular and critically respected American poets of the 20th century. He received 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. So you can see here the work in his poem or in his poetry session has done a lot, and for which he has received the 4 very precious prizes, that is the Pulitzer Prizes, for 4 times, right? So let's begin with the poem. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening is a poem by Robert Frost, written in 1922. You can imagine the period of this poem, 1922, and published in 1923 in his New Hampshire volume. Here, imagery, personification and repetition are prominent in the work. You can see 3 figures of speech has been used by the poet: imagery, personification and repetition. In this poem, the poet describes a little incident happening in a snowy evening. As a traveler, the poet is fascinated by beautiful scenes in the woods. He stops to enjoy, but his mind urges him to go on. So this is the central idea of the poem. I have explained you in the beginning so that you can enjoy the poem when I'll read it for you. बघा, या पोएम मध्ये 1922 मध्ये ही पोएम लिहिलेली आहे आणि 23 मध्ये ही पब्लिश्ड झालेली आहे. आता या कवितेमध्ये जसं मी सुरुवातीला म्हटलं की वी ऑल आर व्हेरी मच अट्रॅक्टेड टुवर्ड्स द नेचर. आपल्याला निसर्गाचं एक आतून ओढ असते. आणि अशाच एकदा बर्फाळ संध्याकाळी बघा, US मध्ये अमेरिकन पोएट आहेत आणि तिकडे विंटर्स मध्ये प्रचंड प्रमाणात थंडी असते, खूप बर्फ पडतो. आणि ही कविता तर 1922 मधली आहे. किती जुन्या काळातली कविता आहे बघा. तेव्हा तर इतकं पोल्युशन किंवा इतकी उष्णता किंवा जे जागतिक आपण म्हणतो टेम्परेचर हे इतकं वाढलेलं नव्हतं, प्रदूषणाची पातळी कमी होती. आणि या सगळ्या सिनारिओ मध्ये प्रचंड थंडी असायची संपूर्ण जगभर. आणि अशा एका अगदी आपण म्हणूया हिवाळ्यातल्या संध्याकाळी पोएट किंवा स्पीकर ऑफ द पोएम, ही इज गोइंग ऑन हिज हॉर्स as a traveler, and he is fascinated by the beautiful scenes in the woods. Woods mean in the jungle. His road is passing through the jungle and he stops to enjoy, but at the same time his mind urges him to go on. अशा एका थंड, अतिशय कडाक्याच्या थंडीतल्या संध्याकाळी जेव्हा त्याचा असं जंगलामधून रस्ता होता आणि त्या रस्त्याने जाताना ते इतकं सुंदर निसर्गाचं दृश्य बघून त्याला राहवलं नाही आणि तो तिकडे थांबला. पण किती वेळ माणूस थांबू शकतो? शेवटी त्याला काहीतरी अशा गोष्टी होत्या की त्याला ते सगळा निसर्ग तिथल्या तिथे सोडून पुढे जाणं भाग पडलं. सो दिस इज द सेंट्रल आयडिया ऑफ द पोएम. So now we will read the poem, all the four stanzas, and then we will see the meaning of each stanzas. Okay? So, whose words these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So this is the beautiful poem written by Robert Frost. Here, the speaker wants to reflect his feelings and experience he encountered during his journey in the woods. That is, he has realized peace, beauty in nature and in death. So, why it is death, we will see gradually when those lines will come. See, we will go to with the first stanza of this poem. First stanza. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Here the narrator, or you can say here the poet himself of the poem stopping by woods on a snowy evening, he stops by some woods on his way one evening. The narrator knows the owner of the woods and even where he lives. He is bit relaxed, thinking that the owner of the woods lives in the village and so he won't see the narrator stopping here. Therefore, he can continue watching the natural beauty of his snow-covered woods. Here the narrator or the poet himself, he has stopped somewhere as he was passing by the woods on his way one evening. And he knows the owner of the woods. Woods means the jungle, the way where he was passing, or you can say the farm. And he knows, he was having an idea whose woods are those. And even he was knowing that where that person lives. And so that he is bit relaxed here, thinking that the owner of these woods, he lives in the village and so he won't see the narrator or the speaker stopping here. Therefore, he can continue watching the natural beauty of his snow-covered woods. असंच एकदा जात असताना अत्यंत सुंदर अशा कडाक्याच्या थंडीत आणि अत्यंत सुंदर अशा ठिकाणी त्याला मोह आवरला नाही कवीला. तो तिकडे थांबला आणि तो थांबला. मग त्याच्या लक्षात आलं की हे कोणाचं आहे. हा जो भाग आहे, हे जे शेत आहे, जे फार्म हाऊस आहे, जे वुड्स आहे, हा जो काही भाग आहे इतका निसर्गाने नटलेला, हा कोणाचा आहे? हा तर मला माहितीये. ह्याचा मालक कोण आहे तर तो मला माहितीये, मी त्याला चांगलं ओळखतो आणि तो गावात राहतो. त्यामुळे तो आणखीन थोडासा रिलॅक्स झाला की मी जरी इथे थांबलो तरी अशा ह्या हिवाळ्यातल्या इतक्या कडाक्याच्या थंडीतल्या संध्याकाळी तो काही इथे येणार नाही आणि मला पाहणार नाही की मी काय पाहतोय आजूबाजूला. त्यामुळे त्या निसर्गाचा आनंद तो अगदी मनमुराद लुटत तिकडे उभा राहिला होता. नेक्स्ट स्टॅन्झा. Next stanza, we'll read that. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. In the second stanza, in this stanza, the narrator of the poem, the poet says that his dear horse, whom he is using as his carriage, must think it strange. Queer means strange. Why it is strange? Because it is strange to stop between the woods and the frozen lake in a dark evening, as he normally stops near a farmhouse. Generally, while passing anywhere or while traveling, his owner used to stop near a farmhouse, but here no farmhouse is seen. And so, here the narrator calls his horse my little horse, as it is very dear to him. He is loving him like anything. And it may also suggest that the speaker is a humble and ordinary citizen and cannot afford to buy an expensive horse. Here, he also personifies the horse by indicating that it has a thought process and also referring it as he in the next stanza. You can see here, इकडे आपल्याला कवी काय सांगतात बघा, की माझा जो छोटासा हॉर्स आहे, माझा जो छोटासा घोडा आहे, त्याला पण तेवढं स्ट्रेंज वाटलं, विचित्र वाटलं. माझा मालक एरवी जर कुठे रस्त्यात थांबायचं असेल तर एखादं फार्म हाऊस बघून थांबतो. आता इथे तर जवळपास मला कुठे फार्म हाऊस दिसत नाहीये, मग हा का थांबलाय, त्याला सुद्धा थोडं विचित्र वाटलं. आता इथे बघा त्यांनी पर्सॉनिफिकेशन वापरलेलं आहे की थॉट प्रोसेस जी आहे घोड्याच्या डोक्यातली ती त्याने जाणून घेतली. आता इथे लिटिल हॉर्स हा जो शब्द आहे बघा विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, हा दोन वेनी वापरले. इट हॅज यूज विथ टू वेज. First thing is that because he is very loving to him, he is very dear to him, he has used that word little one or my little horse. Or in second way, he must be very not very rich. दोन अर्थाने वापरले की एक तर तो त्याला खूप जवळचा असेल म्हणून त्याला त्यांनी लिटिल हॉर्स म्हटलंय, किंवा एक तर तो ऑर्डिनरी असेल, खूप सारे पैसे नसतील मोठा छान घोडा घ्यायचा, छोट्याशा पोनीवरून पण पास होत असेल तो. तर अशा दोन अर्थांनी इथे हे वापरलेलं आहे बघा. And here you can see that the narrator suggests that the weather is cold enough to freeze a lake. It is so cold that even the lake has been freezed over there. And here the expression you can see the darkest evening could suggest several things over here. We say that we should try to learn the meaning between the words. आपण असं नेहमी म्हणतो की एखादी पोएम त्याचा आपण जेव्हा आपण शिकतो किंवा वी आर गोइंग थ्रू दॅट पोएम, जस्ट त्याचं लिटरल मिनिंग नाही बघायचं, शब्दशः अर्थ बघायचा नाही, तर शब्दांच्या मध्ये कवीला काय सांगायचंय हे जाणून घ्यायचं. So here you can focus on the expression darkest evening. It could suggest that several things are hidden between that phrase. Maybe the narrator or the traveler was very depressed due to his long journey or the cold weather. Otherwise, it may also refer to the longest night of the year. So, the night with the most hours of darkness. So here you can see that the darkest evening reflects the two ways or the two meanings. बघा ही डार्केस्ट इव्हनिंग जी आहे ती आपण त्याचा जर अर्थ शोधण्याचा प्रयत्न केला तर आपल्याला दोन अर्थ मिळतात. एक तर लिटरल मिनिंग जे आहे की इट मे बी लॉंगेस्ट नाईट ऑफ द इयर, मे बी इन केस ऑफ डिसेंबर्स इव्हनिंग. अँड सेकंडली that poet is very depressed due to his long journey or the cold weather through which he is passing on. Now we will move to the next stanza. So the next stanza, it gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Here the horse is shaking its head, ringing the bell attached to its harness. Harness means what? Harness bells are bells that are tied in the neck of a horse to control it. Okay. So he is shaking its neck and ringing the bell as if that horse is asking his master whether there is any problem, as it is unusual for him to stop by the woods in the darkness. Here you can see that, and the only sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flakes. Here downy flakes means soft feather like snowflakes falling. बर्फ आपण भुरभुर पडतो म्हणतो ना, तसा बर्फ पडण्याचा तो भुरभुर भुरभुर आवाज आणि वाऱ्याचा आवाज, इतकाच आवाज तिकडे आहे. You can see there are only three sounds: the sounds of the harness bell, light wind, and the snowflakes. No any other sounds are there. And here you can see here the downy flake symbolizes that the place is very quiet. The sound of the downy flake and the easy winds are the only audible sounds, and where the speaker has stopped. So you can see the place is so quiet that only three sounds the speaker says that he can hear: the sounds of the harness bell, light wind, and the snowflakes. And even for this situation, even his horse has understood something is strange over there, so it is shaking its bell and he's asking his master that if there any problem, why have you stopped here. बघा, एखादं मुकं जे जनावर असतं किंवा एखादा मुका जो प्राणी असतो ज्याला आपण खूप प्रेम करतो, तो न बोलता आपल्या भावना समजून घेतो, हे इतकं सुंदर उदाहरण आपल्याला इथे कवीने दिलंय बघा. जेव्हा मी त्या अशा एकदम काळोख्या थंडीच्या प्रचंड कडाक्याच्या थंडीतल्या संध्याकाळी जेव्हा असं मी रस्त्यात मध्येच थांबलो की जिथे काहीच नव्हतं, लाईट्स नव्हते, कशाचा आवाज नव्हता, एखादं फार्म हाऊस नव्हतं, आणि मग माझ्या त्या घोड्याला सुद्धा ते विचित्र वाटलं आणि त्याने त्याच्या गळ्यातल्या बेल्स हलवून जणू काही मला विचारलं की काही प्रॉब्लेम आहे का, तुम्ही इथे असे मध्येच का थांबलाय. आणि ते त्याच्या भावना जणू काही त्याच्या मुक्या जनावराला सुद्धा कळलेल्या होत्या. Then we will move to the last stanza of this poem. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. These lines are very famous lines. You can see here. Here in the last stanza, the narrator describes the woods using three adjectives. You can see here, lovely, dark and deep. This indicates that he is enjoying the scene and wants to do for long, but he has other responsibilities in his life, so he has to go before he sleep. So here you can see here the poet said that he was passing through the woods which were lovely, dark and deep, and the natural beauty compels him to stop there and watch the great scenery of the nature. At first he wonders whose woods are these, but then he realized that the woods of this wood, owner of these woods lies in the town, and so he is bit relaxed over there. He enjoys the beauty of the nature and he is so engrossed over there. Then even his horse, it shakes its bells and asks his master that if any problem is there, but still he continues watching the beauty of that nature. But at last the responsibilities on his shoulder awakens him, and then he again starts his journey, and he says that miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. हे इतकं सुंदर निसर्ग सौंदर्य आणि त्या सगळ्या गोष्टींनी त्याला मोह पडतो, सगळं विसरून त्याच्यामध्ये तो गुंग होतो, आणि मग असा एक क्षणाला तो भानावर येतो आणि मग त्याच्या खांद्यावरच्या ज्या जबाबदाऱ्या असतात त्या त्याला आठवण करून देतात की आपल्याला इथे फार वेळ थांबता येणार नाहीये आणि खूप रात्र होण्याच्या आधी इथून मला बाहेर पडायचंय, कारण माझं घरी कोणीतरी वाट बघतंय, घरच्यांच्या माझ्यावर जबाबदाऱ्या आहेत आणि त्या जबाबदाऱ्यांची जाणीव त्याला भानावर आणते आणि त्याला कळतं की हे जरी खूप सुंदर असलं तरी वास्तव आपली वाट बघतंय. द रियालिटी इज वेटिंग फॉर हिम अँड ही स्टार्ट्स ऑफ विथ हिज जर्नी. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. आता मगाशी मी जसं तुम्हाला सांगितलं तसं पण इथे आपल्याला टू मिनिंग्स दिसत आहेत बघा या सेंटेन्स मध्ये. माइल्स टू गो बिफोर आय स्लीप, की पूर्ण रात्र होऊन मला झोप लागण्याच्या आधी किंवा मी इतका थकलोय की मला कुठेतरी झोपावं लागेल अशी कंडिशन येण्याच्या आधी मी इथून निघून गेलं पाहिजे. आणि दुसरं असं की माणसाला ज्या जबाबदाऱ्या असतात त्या त्याच्या मृत्यूपूर्वी पार पाडायच्या असतात. आयुष्यामध्ये आपल्याला सुंदर वाटणाऱ्या अनेक गोष्टी आपल्या आजूबाजूला असतात, पण त्याच्यातच आपण जर गुंगून राहिलो तर आपल्या आयुष्यातला मोठा काळ निघून जातो आणि आपल्या जबाबदाऱ्या आपल्याला पूर्ण करता येत नाहीत. आणि म्हणून इथे रियालिटीचं भान, वास्तवतेचं भान आपल्याला आणून दाखवलंय कवीने की अँड माइल्स टू गो बिफोर आय स्लीप. माझा मृत्यू जवळ येण्याच्या आधी किंवा मी मृत्यूला कवटाळण्याच्या आधी, मी कायमची चिरनिद्रा घेण्याच्या आधी मला माझ्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी पार पाडायचे, म्हणजे माझा आनंद मी काही क्षणांसाठीच उपभोगू शकतो. सो in this short and very meaningful poem, poet Robert Frost has brought the reality of humans' life in front of us. Now see, I have tried here to put the central idea of this poem in these lines over here. The speaker wants to reflect his feeling and experience he encountered during his journey in the woods, that he has realized peace, beauty in nature and death. In nature, you can find beauty and peace at heart, but you cannot choose what you really want to do if you have promises to keep, which are your duty and responsibility to fulfill. या छोट्याशा ओळींमधून आपल्याला ह्या पोएमची सेंट्रल आयडिया लक्षात येते की काय कवीला नेमकं ह्या चारच ओळी कडव्यांच्या पोएम मधून आपल्याला सांगायचं. ओके, सो नाउ we will do some activities from this poem. See here, very important and only one activity I have opted for you from this poem. Tell whether the rhyme scheme of the following stanzas is right or wrong. For the wrong rhyme scheme, give the correct one. आता आपल्याला बघा इकडे दिलेला आहे एक अत्यंत महत्त्वाचा प्रश्न मी इथे तुमच्यासाठी घेतलाय बघा. आपल्याला राईम स्कीम या पोएम मध्ये जी दिलेली आहे ती आपल्याला इथे बघायची आहे बघा. यू हॅव गिवन स्ट्रॅन्झा वाइज राईम स्कीम. स्ट्रॅन्झा 1 A A B A, in second stanza B B C B, third C C D E, and in fourth stanza D D E D. So we will try to find out whether these rhyme schemes are correct or not. So see in first stanza A A B A. How do you find out the rhyme scheme? With the help of rhyming words. See in first stanza we will find out the rhyming words. A A B A. No, though, here, snow. So no, though and snow, they are rhyming. So they are A. And why it is B? Look at the B stanza. Queer, near, and ear, so they rhymes with here, so that is the B one. Okay, A A B A, so this is the correct one. Now we will go for the second stanza. See here, queer, near, lake and ear. So here lake is different than other three words, so the rhyme scheme is B B C and B. Why C? See, find out the rhyming words from the C one. Shake, mistake, sweep, and flake. So shake, mistake, flake rhymes with lake, so that is also correct. B B C B. We will go for second stanza, third stanza. Next one, C C D E. C, we have seen shake, mistake, and flake. But why D? We will read that deep, keep, sleep, sleep. So D1, sweep. So it rhymes with D. So this is also correct. And the last one we will read DDED. And see the rhyming words or the words which rhymes with each other in last stanza. Deep, keep, sleep, sleep. So they are all rhymes with each other. So this is the wrong rhyme scheme. So which one is correct? What it should be? D, 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 because all words are rhymes with each other. Okay? अशा प्रकारे आपल्याला rhyme scheme शोधायची असते. Now there are some activities for you. After reading the poem, after watching this video, you try to find out the answers for the activities which I'll show it to you. So here you can find out some more activities. Give the synonym of the following words and make sentence of your own. So here are some words. You can give the synonyms of these words and make sentences of your own. You can use these words in your own sentence. Snow, queer, shake, sweep, deep and keep. Okay? Same meanings. Then give the antonyms of the following words and make sentences of your own. Here opposite word you have to go like village, city, near, far. Okay? Mistake, dark, deep and queer. And one more is there. Find out the noun and verb of the poem. See here. Read the poem and say how the words in each stanza rhyme. Just now we have seen that. But here you have listened to them. Now you can put it in writing. And write a summary of the poem. I have already shown you, but here you can write in your own words. And write an imaginary dialogue between the speaker and his horse. This is really interesting activity. You can imagine what the horse and the speaker would have talked to each other on that cold and frosty evening. Okay? So that's it for today.
That's all for today. So you will revise whatever we have learned in today's session. Please subscribe the channel and press the notification button to get the link of next video. Bye bye.